I'm Daniel Moreira, composer of the piece The King from Papatua, which was selected for the Gaudeamus Music Week. And I come from Brazil, but I do live in Germany right now, where I have studied. I did my master, and I'm still there. Yeah.
Do you still go to Brazil to present your work, or are you a little bit cut off of Brazil?
That's quite interesting. I mean, the number of concert opportunities in Brazil is quite reduced in comparison with Germany or here, the Netherlands. We do have some nice festivals, but not as much and not as big as this one here, for example. So it's even funny to say that the first time I've heard a piece of mine being performed was not in Brazil. After that, of course, then I had some opportunities there also. But the main reason to go there right now is really to visit family, friends, and enjoy the country also. So.
Well, who is this king of Papatua? Where is Papatua? Where does the story comes from?
Well, I can say I've never been there, but what can I say about this king is that he woke up one day and he suddenly started to speak this language, which I myself and the others, we just can't understand what he's saying. But he does, and we do so as if we can understand him. So we let him speak, we let him do his thing. And that's what happened to this king. He tries desperately to communicate, to interact with the others, when he sees that his words are not affecting the people as they should. I mean, the words from a king, please. Then he tries to find other ways, musical ways to interact with the people. He sings, he plays percussion instruments, and that's pretty much all that I know about this figure, about this king.
Okay, he just appears and he's there, and you don't know nothing about it.
Yeah, we have the privilege to see this small snapshot of this very important episode of his life, which is the moment he lost his capability to speak. So we are there to see this moment. But afterwards, I hope he's fine, I hope he's well, and I hope he has recovered his capability to speak his Papatuanish or whatever they do speak in Papatua. Yeah. But at the end of the piece, I think he was quite happy, and I'm happy for him also. Yeah. So the whole language that he speaks is actually an imaginary language. The words they do not mean anything.
It's very rhythmic.
It's very rhythmical, and the way that I wrote for the singer of the piece. I mean, the soloist who sing the piece yesterday, Alexander de Paula, he's Brazilian. So I wrote the piece for him, and this language is imaginary language. It is completely based in our mother language, which is Portuguese. So the way I wrote it on the score has the Portuguese accents, the symbols on the. It was at first just a strategy to make it easier to communicate this language, but in the end it kind of absorbed the many melodical characteristics of the Portuguese language.
And why did you choose to write for Alexander de Paula?
Well, at first it was an invitation from the DAAD, which is the German Service for Exchange Students. We both came to Germany with this scholarship from DAAD. Yes, and there was this meeting in Berlin at the Academy of Arts, and we were invited to write a piece for the other scholarship holders. Then that was pretty much all I knew about him before, that he was a scholarship holder coming from Brazil also. Then they told me yes. Then I was just completely happy to write the piece for him. The first version of the piece was just 5 minutes long, and after that, after I saw how good he did it, how he was even emotionally attached to his role, then I decided, okay, I need to expand this piece, and now it's 3 times longer. Actually, in this piece, he doesn't sing in the way that an opera singer sings normally. Even though there are many theatrical elements, I didn't want it to be really a theater. It's a piece with voice. And the theater, it arises from the relationship with the instruments, with... yes, I didn't wrote any specific theatrical... everything that comes...
Improvisation.
Yes, it was discussing with him how he would feel comfortable. You know what? He told me, Daniel, okay, it's an imaginary language. How should I... what should I do? Should I just read the text? I need to express myself. So, and he told me, even though nobody understands this language, I need to understand. I'm the king, I'm speaking it. I need to know what's here. And then we found a very personal, for me and for him, a personal meaning of each word. So when he's singing the piece, he does know what he's saying, even though we don't. So that makes this his interpretation quite special. Yeah. He does speak this language. That's maybe the difference. He's not just saying things.
And do you understand him?
Well, I've discussed with him. I do understand sometimes. Yes, I must say I do. But it's not important at all. I mean, for the public to understand, it would be also bad if they could. Yeah.
So how exactly is the relationship between the singing or the vocal and the instruments? I see the instruments as they are the people. Mm-hmm. They are reacting on him. Sometimes I felt they were like little animals, or I don't know. It's so funny.
Yeah, that's true. All the musical materials of the piece, I'm going to say 90% of it, comes from vocal gestures, from models of speech. So the trombone is the instrument that the best way imitates the human voice. I mean, you can put this metallic object in the trombone, it's a mute, and then moving your hands you can really make these small inflections of the voice, and with the slide of the trombone. So the trombone has a very specific role in this piece also. The cello, the glissandos is sliding the pitches, because when we talk we're not singing, but we do change pitch slightly. Yeah. And I really wrote that on the score, how they should do. And all the gestures, the musical gestures, they're really based on voice. And sometimes, since they're only musical instruments, it's quite easy to see them as animals also, of course. This is. And there are moments where the players, they do speak also. So the voice, it comes in the piece at some point. They try to learn the language of the king. And yeah, but you're right. It's almost entirely based a voice-based piece. Yeah.
It was also very surprising because the singer came from the back, and then the little instruments, all sorts of sounds. Mm-hmm. It's very nice.
Yeah, as I told you, all these theatrical elements came from Alexander. He decided, Daniel, look, the king wakes up. It needs to be really something, a huge event in the piece, something unexpected. So that's right. He stays first in the public. He's sitting there. So after 2 minutes, he just arrives and wake up, scared, and slowly he develops his language and slowly speaks, and we follow it. Yes.
There's a moment that there's not a lot of things happening. There's some small sounds, and it's really like, whoa, what's this?
I believe you're talking about the first, about the beginning of the piece. Actually, yes. That was quite an interesting, that's maybe my favorite part of the piece. Yeah, but well, it's a moment where nothing happens, but which was quite difficult to compose. You know, to compose nothing it's almost as difficult as to compose a lot of notes. So well, just to describe what's happening, the piece begins with sounds and then suddenly it stops completely, and we only hear a violin, a trill. I first composed 5 seconds of it. Then the piece grew, and then I came back to this place in the piece and I said, no, it's too short, let's try 20. Then I came back to it and, well, 20 is not enough, let's try 30 seconds. No, let's try a whole minute here. And then and it creates a completely awkward moment also for the audience. Like, what's happening? Did it stop? Where is it coming from? The musicians, they suddenly stop. And I figured out, well, that's the perfect environment for the king to arise, unexpected. So to build up this tension was, even though nothing happens, was really difficult to calculate how to build this tension, where nothing happens and when he appears. At the end of the piece, I wanted a new element to come. So the king, he was singing the whole time, speaking the whole time, And then I wanted to shut him down and to give him a new role, so the role of a percussion player in a way. So, and it has to do with my own interpretation of the story. That is that the king actually, he's not a king. He's actually working in a supermarket and just dreaming that he's a king, talking with himself. He's just alone there. And at the end, I give him some supermarket objects, like this price tagger. At the end, he's just working, doing his daily job, and the dream just ends there.
That's sweet.
I shouldn't have said that, but that's my point of view. You don't need to follow it. But
of course. That's nice.
He's just working a day job and dreaming he's a king. Maybe tomorrow he'll think something else. Yeah, that's what see, I just confessed it. I didn't want to.
And my last question about your background. You started studying physics. How did you come to music?
I was quite young when I had to decide what was I going to do with my life and what to study. And physics was something that quite interested me a lot. And I decided for it, even though music was always present in my life, from a young age until today, of course. I studied it, but the interest in music just grew stronger, and I just needed to change, not because I didn't like physics or so, but I needed to make a choice, actually. And yes, there are many influences of maybe the physical, the practical approach of physics in my music. Not that I use any formulas or calculation or abstract systems, not at all. My music, I try always to strive to have a direct effect rather than a more abstract one. But maybe to solve practical issues in the composition and to think straightforward. That's maybe present there.